Christopher Wright from Security Branch with us here today. Thanks so much, Christopher, for sharing some time and expertise with us. So my name is Rich Bolcher. I am the VP of Marketing for Gates and Controls. And let's go ahead and start with Christopher. Christopher, go for it. And give us a little bit of background about who you are.
Sure, yeah. I am Chris Wright. I've been in access control for about 2 years now with Security Brands, starting to get my feet wet with sales. So I'm looking forward to meeting everyone face to face who I haven't already met. So I'm going to start with our oldest version, our oldest products, which is going to be our Advantage line. These are the standalone options that are pretty reliable, budget-friendly, and simple to program. That's one thing about our product line is that everything is pretty similar as far as how it's programmed. So once you learn one, you pretty much know them all. Uh, these products were started with a different name with American Access, which we purchased, and that company had been around since 1978. So some of these keypads date back to then, and I still get calls now from units that have been out there uh, since the early 90s, some from the 80s and whatnot. So these keypads are definitely reliable, sturdy, and economic. So just going down that product line, I have my 17-300, which is my basic intercom station, wire to an inside intercom station, basic call feature, push to talk. Then I also have my 19100 line offered in various models here, and this is my low power unit. So very low draw, so for your solar applications or where they need low power or they don't need a ton of codes. These offer 100 code capacity. I also have a single gang, my economy, and also one with an intercom station as well. I'm going to have my most popular units highlighted in red as we go along, and you'll see my 26500 is my most popular standalone keypad. It sits somewhere between my ADV 1000 and my 19-100, offers 500 code capacity. Just switched from a wiring harness to a terminal block, which a lot of installers are asking for, and we do like to listen to our customers and try to make those changes as we go. But yeah, backlit, 500 code capacity, and easy on the wallet. Next, I have my ADV 1000. If you need a bit more code capacity and you may want some LED indicators as far as when codes are good and when they're bad, have that offered with an intercom and also with a Knox lock, which some people seem to like for some reason. But yep, ADV 1000, these are my standalone keypad options. Simplicity, I wanted to touch base on that as well. All of our units come with a pretty easy to understand quick start guide, and these are the basic sub modes that you'll use for most of the keypads on how to program them. Everything is in color. There's lots of pictures, not a lot of words. Helps you just kind of skip through because I know when you're out in the field, or at least installers, they don't want to read much. Next, my Ridge line. This has become is kind of exploding here lately, and the reason is just so simple. No wiring. It's all wireless. Uh, you hook up your transceiver in your gate controller, and you can place this keypad anywhere. You don't have to do any trenching or anything. It runs off a 9-volt battery. Usually lasts about a year to 2 years, depending on usage. And it's been, a wonderful product. Definitely my most popular in this line. We also are now bringing remotes that work with our transceiver. One issue that we had ran into was installers were having to utilize two transceivers or two receivers, one for the remotes and one for our keypad. And sometimes we're getting a lot of self installers with this keypad as well, and they weren't for sure. They thought they could program their remotes to it, but in actuality you can't. So to solve that, we are introducing our own remotes, which we will be giving away a few for the promotions with Gates and Controls for the month. And it pairs very simply to the transceiver.
Very specifically, Christopher, if somebody buys 5 ridges, they get 2 remotes per ridge for free.
Per ridge. Correct. So that would be 10 remotes they would get. Yes, sir.
You know what kind of range you're getting out of those?
500 feet.
500 feet. Wow, that's pretty good.
Thank you, Tony. I was going to ask the same question.
And the remotes are pretty far as well. At ISC, I tried to walk to the other side of the building and trigger it, and then I kept triggering it no matter how far I walked, and that was 75,000 square feet there. So as long as I had line of sight there, it was fine. I think 500 feet, if you're no line of sight, would be good. But they seem to work pretty well, and we're excited to get those out to market. We're also going to be offering this remote with its own transceiver and a 300 megahertz for your multi-code options. Someone's just needing a remote and a transceiver, they can pick that up as well. We also have our request to exit button. So you could have this on the outside and request to exit on the inside, all wireless, no trenching, quick install, just putting up some posts or, screwing them to a wall or however you want to install them.
Christopher, how long have these products been in the market?
These have been out, I would say, probably 6-7 years.
6-7 years.
Point.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You said something a minute ago that I didn't quite understand. You said something about a new product.
The remotes are brand new, as well as the Ridge Red Ski, which is going to be this small keypad, which again will be wireless that you could put on a door or a garage or anything like that we'll be adding here soon. Next is my Edge series, which is my newest product. It's been out now about 6 months. This is a standalone option with an app. Everything is done via Bluetooth from that app to the device. It can also still be programmed at the unit like my older units as well. Cool things about the Edge is, I don't know how, obviously you guys have probably been in the industry longer than I have, but me getting a lot of tech support calls, I see people, lugging laptops out to the gate or portable printers to try to get their audit trail or see what codes they have in the unit. This was designed to eliminate that. So everything is done through this app. You can keep up to 10,000 entries on your audit trail. Can add up to 8,500 codes on this unit. I can manage them all through the app. I can go pull my audit trail when I need to. Also have individual code permissions. So I could set one code to work Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 a.m. to 12. And then I could have other codes that are 24 hours. I could also issue a code that's a one-time use. Where I'm seeing a lot of traction with these are storage facilities, also national parks or dog facilities where they need to control access, but they don't want to pay a cellular fee for that. And they don't mind going out there once a week and resyncing the unit or changing their codes via Bluetooth. So they do all their changing at home or at their desk. They go out, they hit sync, and it's done within about 10 seconds. Most of these Edge units are also going to come with 2 Wigan inputs, so you can wire, a remote receiver or a remote keypad, and still be able to program everything via the app as well. And once paired with a device, it can also trigger the time. It will hold the time from your cell phone. So you can set, timers. Let's say I want the gate open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. I can set that with this device. So it pretty much covers a lot of bases, and I'm pretty excited about it. And I think it's got a lot of potential. These are the different configurations of that Edge model. So I have my E1, which is just a keypad. This is a plate if you wanted to put your own reader there. Then I also have a keypad and intercom, card reader solo with card reader with intercom, and card reader keypad. And then I also have my rain type box, which you could maybe hook like a long range reader to, have it out of sight. You don't want any touch points for your access. You just want long range readers or to be able to just control the unit or manage it without having anything at the gate. And all my card readers are going to be offered in HID or secure key as well.
Sorry, I had it on mute. So this is completely standalone, and you program it via Bluetooth to everything?
Correct. Yes, sir.
And from a smartphone, or do you need a device that
From a
holds all the
smartphone.
data? Okay.
So yeah, you would just download the app, you create your profile, you sync with the unit for the first time, it recognizes your phone, no one else will be able to pair with it unless they know the master code, And like I said, you can do all your controlling from home. I have a guy out in East Texas right now who's using it on his storage facility, and he just uses his iPad. He deactivates and activates codes as he sees fit. And his office, luckily for him, is he's within Bluetooth range where he sits, so he can just do everything from his desk.
Can these operate on 12 volts DC if you want to do solar?
Yes.
You can. Okay.
Next, we'll hop into my Remote Pro. We do offer a lot of wigging options that you can add to your master stations or primary stations, keypads, card readers, AWID tag readers. We also offer the fobs and cards as well, and the tags. And our keypads and card readers can be equipped with an intercom as well. You can also add a keypad to the card reader, and that's all wigging to go with a master station. So that could be paired with, just looking at my product line, that could be paired with the Edge line, which does have a wigging input, or two wigging inputs, I should say, and then my Ascent line, which we'll dive into here shortly. I also wanted to show a lot of the things that maybe a lot of people don't know that we carry. So we do also have an auto sense controller and a probe. The good thing about this is it can be mounted above ground. If you ever need to adjust the sensitivity, you don't have to go find it or figure out where you buried it. This is a 75-foot probe. It's metal motion activated, so moving metal will activate it as you go. And you can buy those separately or in a kit altogether. All right. Now this is my Ascent line, which we have several different products for different applications. This is my cellular controller. They do come with a subscription, and we'll take a brief look at that here shortly. But offered in several different configurations. All are going to offer control via app, text, and voice. Some of the units will offer a call feature, particularly in my multi-tenant units, and my basic residential one, which is my most popular, my Ascent X1. Always on back order and kind of flying off the shelves across the nation. Yeah, we're definitely staying ahead of the curve and already preparing for the 5G switch, which I think is probably going to be about 10 years out. These products are great. Only thing with them is I always stress to my installers or to the installers that I talk to is we got to make sure we have good voltage at these units. So between 12 and 24 volts, and I always recommend 18 gauge stranded wire. So if you guys are talking to dealers in your area that are interested in a cellular product, you got to make sure that they're doing those small things that make a big difference as far as the reliability of the unit. Using data wire or low voltaging it or high voltaging it just disrupts the cellular network. So pretty simple parameters to stick around, and once it's set like that, they tend to work like clockwork.
So the Ascent line is the only line that you have that you can open and close the gate with your cell phone.
The Edge, you can also open and control with your cell phone when you're in Bluetooth range. My Ascent line, you can open in anywhere, wherever you are. So if you had a house in Utah, Richard, you could open the gate for someone from here.
Does it tell me on my cell phone whether the gate is open, closed, or in transit?
So I do have a gate status available. I would need to wire that up. So there are terminals available there where you can get a true gate status and receive notifications on whether the gate is open or closed. You can also receive photos of anyone that's attempting to open the gate, or if an access code was used, or if you had someone else open the gate with an app or a voice call was made. You can pretty much get notifications on anything that the unit will do or that you can wire to the unit. They also come with an activity log, which is completely searchable. So let's say, I have a pretty busy facility. I had some trouble happen, a week ago. I can always go back and look at that, or I can search a particular name or code and see what was going on at that time, or what time this person came in, or they said they came in at this time, but in actuality they were, 2 hours late. So do have some businesses actually using these as a time clock.
How many events will it store?
It'll show you up to 1,000 per unit that you have on the device, but we will keep backlog up to 5 years for you. So if you ever need to go back and pull anything, we can pull all that data for you. And most of these units are also going to have the 2 Wigan inputs, so I could put, an X1 in my entry and a Remote Pro on my exit. Or I also have a lot of trucking facilities that utilize these, and they'll have an upper keypad and a lower keypad. So the possibilities are endless with the line. I have a huge housing development called Possum Kingdom Lake, and they have 7 of these M7s and then 6 C2s for like their clubhouse or pool gate, and then an M7 at all their entry points. So Summit Control is my user portal for my Ascent devices. So everyone that's using an Ascent device will use it through Summit Control. This is where they manage their devices. This is where they go to sign up. This is where they can, view their activity log. This is what the app is called, Summit Control. So that is my user interface for my cellular platform. All right. Also wanted to show some of the other things to kind of close out that we offer. We do offer a lot of hardware for gates. This is brand new here, this tandem adapter, which I think is pretty helpful. I could have, a firebox and my keypad on one pedestal, and maybe doing a dual height pedestal. I have one wire through one pedestal instead of 2, or trying to figure out the best way to mount a second device. We also offer fire boxes, and these pedestals are flying off the shelves as well. And we do also offer a standalone timer.
We've got Mike Torin, an expert on RFID and access control, and frankly, the whole gate operator access control industry. So today he's going to be sharing a lot about his company and RFID in general. His company is InfinityRFID. We're lucky to have him. He's very knowledgeable. Take it away, Mike.
Hi. All right. So let's go ahead and do a little bit of introduction. I am Mike Torin. I started in InfinityRFID out in 2013. Actually, Richard, you can see this, right?
Yep.
Okay, good. Let me go. Yeah, started InfinityRFID, and let me go through, kind of get you familiar with the product line and with the technology. So we founded the company in 2013. I have a background in all types of access control, gate operators, phone entry systems, crash barriers, cameras, and everything else. So I kind of understand everything from A to Z. But what I really was excited about was RFID and getting into this market. So we focused on North America, so Canada, the US, and Mexico, and we are really a custom RFID systems provider. When I say that, it's because we custom program, custom configure every one of our tags and readers that leaves the office and the warehouse. And that's beneficial to you because we can custom make anything you'd like and make it as secure as you'd like. So something that's specific to a dealer, and also something that could be even down to specific as to a community or a project or an application or a warehouse. So that way, our product is made specifically for that place, and any of our product that happens to be outside in the world doesn't work at that place. So really product and programming specific. Next, I want to go over just a quick run into how it works, because I think it's important that you understand the concepts of RFID. There's an RFID reader that generates a balloon of energy that goes into the vehicle lane. When a car with an RFID tag pulls into that balloon of energy, that energy is absorbed by the antenna of that RFID tag. And then that RFID tag can then use that energy to take its ID and send it back up to the reader. So really think about it as the reader is a data collection device and just pulling information from these RFID tags as they come through. And then what that does with that information is it takes that information converts it to a format like 26-bit Wiegand, and sends that on to an access controller. So the next slide I want to show you is what are the components of an RFID system. That way you're familiar with in total. So you got to have the RFID tag. So that's the original ID. Then you've got the RFID reader, and then that tag's ID gets to the RFID reader, and then the RFID reader then shares that ID with the access controller. And it can be any type of access controller that is 26-bit Wiegand. So I show an EL 2000 here. Could be a Dorking 1835. Could be anything. And in fact, if you look at the picture, that's an example of an RFID system down in Sacramento. So vehicle gates, there's a phone entry system, and then right next to it is an RFID reader, and that's feeding the phone entry system with data. And then here's a better look at all the different pieces you could have in the lane. So car, RFID tag. You could have an arming loop that activates the RFID reader only when there's a vehicle in the lane. That way, somebody who's walking through the tag doesn't activate it. Or that way, a car that's outside of the lane doesn't activate it. So you could have an adjacent lane, like in a parking situation. That makes sure that only the car in the lane that you're in activates everything. Phone entry system, there's a barrier gate, there's a slider or swing gate at the very end. But this is where most of the lanes look like in RFID. So once you understand RFID and how it works, and you have a project, the next thing is choosing the right project or right products for your project. So the first thing you want to do is take a look at all the different credentials that are out there, all the different form factors, because there's a bunch of them. So I mean, there's tags that can be moved on windshields, there's tags that can be on headlamps, there's tags that can be on license plates, they could be credit card style tags that are handheld, there's rearview mirror tags. So to narrow down the field, one good thing to ask at the very beginning of the project is what type of security, or what do you want this tag to be, transferable or non-transferable? Because that'll pretty much cut the field in half. If the application requires a non-transferable tag, meaning a tag that once it's mounted on the vehicle can't be removed and reused, then that gets you into one category of tag. If they want a tag where you can transfer it, meaning you can take it, hand it to another person, or put it in a different car, and now that car can get into the system, then that'd be a transferable. So once you decide, then that's going to prompt you into going into that field. So non-transferable tags, those are our sticker tags. Those are the ones that can't be removed and reused. The first I would like to bring your attention would be my universal mount tag. So this one is flexible. It can go on windshields, or automotive glass. It can go also on headlamps. So if you wanted to stock one tag, or do a project where you did one tag and it wasn't vehicle specific, it could be used on any type of vehicle, I would go to this one, because it's flexible enough to be on windshields and on glass, or windshields and on headlamps. There is a portion of the population of vehicles that do have metal in the windshield that make it prohibitive to use a windshield tag. So this would take that out of the equation. So if you had some of those vehicles in the population of the community or the parking lot that you're dealing with, you could use this tag and then just instruct them to put it on the headlamp. The next non-transferable tag I have is my headlamp tag. That one is plastic only. It can be used on headlamps, side mirrors. It can be used in bumpers. I mean, anything on the vehicle that is made out of plastic and is at least 2 inches away from any metal. And this really addresses the issue with metallic windshields. So if you wanted to do one specific tag and you wanted to make it on one part of the vehicle, this would be the way to go with a headlamp tag. And lastly, for non-transferable tags, we have windshield tags. And these are made and tuned to be on automotive glass. One side note is these tags can also be used exterior on glass, because you'll have older cars, like classic cars have a glass headlamp. You can actually use this tag on that glass headlamp as well. Think of it more of, these tags are designed for specific surfaces and materials, and then use those tags in those applications. There's two here. One's a small discrete one for if you wanted to blend into the windshield, and then one, which is the bottom one, is larger. I can do custom printing and actually does a longer read range. And then we have our transferable tag. So if your application wants to have tags that can be passed from vehicle to vehicle or from person to person, this is one way to do it. And here's a bunch of different form factors that I supply. The one that I do want to talk to you about today is the rearview mirror hang tag. I do majority of my projects with this one, and it's durable, it's easy to use. There's not a whole lot of training involved. It's pretty self-explanatory. It goes on the rearview mirror, although some people like to carry it around. But the other thing I wanted to show you is also the custom printing we can do. The far right is a standard Infinity winch or hang tag, but with a custom printed label on the outside. The one in the center is also a custom hang tag, but that's one that's printed by my plastic supplier. And then look at the other two, the magenta one and the one next to it that's reversed. That's custom two-sided printing. So there's a lot of different options we can do with this form factor. So once we've decided which tags we want to use, the next thing is figure out which reader is best for my application. The Carina reader we have here is probably the most popular reader, and there's a reason why. You don't need any special tools to install this reader. No laptops, no software. Basically, a screwdriver and a set of wrenches will get you in to make this happen. And all the adjustments you would need to make on this reader are all going to be done with a screwdriver on our interface module. So there's a trim pot for the range, and there's a row of dip switches that'll set up some of the features you want. And then the range is 20 to 25 feet. So that fits most of your applications. The next reader I want to show you is my Procyon reader. That one is it's a little more advanced. It requires a laptop to configure, and it's made to really be on a network. So that way, if you're savvy with networking, you can be remote and you could be in your office and be able to log in and take a look at the reader and see what it's doing or what it's not doing. Do a little bit of troubleshooting before you hop in the truck and go out to the job site. It's PoE powered, so it's relatively easy to install. Cat5 is required for the install on this one. And then you get a little longer range, 30 to 35 foot read range. We can do some custom software as well. The last one I want to show you is also a network-based reader. This one is it's a bit more powerful and has a little more flexibility in terms of if you had to do two different adjacent lanes. This one has a port for an extra antenna. So you wouldn't happen to have to buy two readers. You could buy one reader and have one antenna. One other big thing about this one is it's multi-protocol, which means it can read other tag programming. One would be like reading toll tags. The other would be reading, say, transcore, which is its own protocol. But another option for you as well. And then some opportunities to take a look at. So you know which reader you want to go with, you know which tags you want to go with. How do you attack the market and take a look at what opportunities you could address with that technology? And the one that I would go after most often would be radio transmitters. There's a lot of radio transmitters out there that are weakened, and this is also weakened as well. So it'd be a one-to-one replacement. You're replacing one weakened technology with another weakened technology. The benefit of RFID is in some cases it'll be cheaper, and I'll show you that in a second, but the benefit would be there's no batteries. So on a transmitter, you're using a battery to be able to send your data over to the receiver. And over time, that battery can wear out and go dead. And that could be a service call. That could be some tech support you have to do that you wouldn't happen to necessarily have with those RFID, because RFID is passive. It doesn't require a battery. The other thing that's big, if you do a project that's non-transferable, our radio transmitters are all transferable. You can hand them off from person to person or car to car, whereas RFID with non-transferable tags can't have that option. It's much more secure. The other technology I would take a look at is your proximity readers, short-range proximity readers. Same weekend as well. The big win for long-range RFID is the distance. You don't need to roll down your window to present an RFID tag to a pedestal-mounted RFID reader. Everything will be hands-free. You can drive up, automatically see you, and you can drive through the gate. That would be the two biggest markets I'd go after in that one. I did talk about custom printing. We can do custom printing on our RFID tags that are windshields, headlamps. Not so much headlamps because you'd have a lot of light go through those, But, you know, hang tags, car tags, we can do a lot of custom printing options. You can contact us if you have any projects that require that. And then the last thing is we do a lot of RFID collaboration. So if you've already got RFID out there, give us a call. Let us know if there's anything we can do to help provide some products that would be complementary to what's already out there in the system. And that's, oh, sorry. So here's the graph on InfinityRFID reader versus some transmitters. At about 150 vehicles is where RFID actually becomes cheaper than a Wiegand radio transmitter solution. So you can see, you know, the benefit would be to go to the community or to the project or the application and say, how many vehicles do you have? You have over to 150. If you go with InfinityRFID or you go with an RFID solution, you can actually do it cheaper in the long run than if you did the transmitters. Custom printing, we can do custom printing. Here's a shot of a lot of our industrial grade tag printers. We can do QR codes, barcodes, logos, web pages, phone numbers, anything you could think of we can do. So if you've got an idea, let us know what you want to do. We'll make some proofs, and if you like what we're doing, we can supply you some stuff for a project. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me and watch the presentation.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Wrapping this up.
Yeah.
One more time, the top 4 reasons that an organization should be considering RFID versus what they're already using or considering.
Okay. Channel, well, InfinityRFID. Yes. So I guess number 1 is channel protection. We can produce products specific to a dealer or to a project. So if it's a high security project, we can make tags that will only work on that project. If it's a dealer that wants to have some protection in the channel, we can make tags that are specific for that dealer, independent of what other tags we produce. So that'd be 1. 2, it's a technology that has gone mainstream that I think is just going to get even bigger and bigger. So it would be beneficial to jump in and get experience and get knowledgeable about this platform, and then be able to go and handle any projects that come down the road. So that's 2. We have 3 and 4.
So, but from an end user's perspective, I mean, the fact that you lose fobs, for instance.
Yeah, you have batteries that wear out, you lose fobs, you've got residents that might, from a community perspective, you have residents that might be passing tags to their friends and their family or whoever, or misplacing the tags, or somebody might steal a tag, or sort of misplacing a fob or misplacing a transmitter, or somebody might steal a transmitter. Or it's a security risk where you're using a platform that can be bought online. And as long as somebody knows what facility code and what Wiegand ID you are, they can buy the same range and be able to get in the system. So this is a security thing as well.
Great.
What would be 4? I'm trying to think what 4 is. I mean, the custom printing.
One of the beautiful things about it is it's almost invisible on a vehicle. It's almost invisible.
Yeah. Yeah, I've gone to great lengths to make it aesthetically pleasing and not detract from the high-end vehicles. So I use a clear material, and the only thing you see is the antenna, and it's a silver ink antenna. So it's a neutral color.
Michael, thank you so much.
No
InfinityRFID.